Myanmar is a country which was run for many years by a military dictatorship. That dictatorship has opted in more recent times to try and transform itself into a democratic system where at least a level of popular participation in politics has become possible. The centre for this new effort is Naypyidaw, the capital of the new Myanmar. Naypyidaw is the place from which the former military dictators of the country have decided that they will try and rule a new political geography.
So what is the Myanmar conflict about? Well, in very simple terms, the ethnic minority groups of Myanmar have been fighting almost 70 years for freedom from an oppressive government.
A ruling party MP said on Thursday that a new law that enables Myanmar to hold a referendum on amending the constitution is unlikely to bring changes that would allow opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi to become president after this year's general election. The move comes after domestic and international pressure to reform Myanmar's political system, which is stacked in favor of the military. Shui Mong, an MP from the ruling Union Solidarity and Development Party, said the clause is unlikely to be included if a referendum is held this year.
In 2011, 12 of the factions came together to form a union committed to combining efforts towards a unified state. Currently, the Myanmar government is a purported civilian democracy, but it has had a long history of military dictatorship. Although there have been attempts at peace recently, Myanmar is still regarded as a highly oppressive and corrupt nation.
35-year-old Napon Lat is a well-known blogger and free speech activist, and he spent 4 years in prison for it. He was released as part of a major amnesty in 2012, one of the first steps by the military rulers of Myanmar towards a more democratic society. Napon Lat's release from prison represented a step forward for free speech. So too has Myanmar's rapid embrace of social media. Long shut off from the outside world, the country's internet use has rocketed, from 2% of the population to 35% in just a few years.
Gwanza, it's such a pleasure to see you today. You founded the Irrawaddy magazine, and this publication has taken off and has had so many viewers and readers. And you started the Irrawaddy magazine in Chiang Mai. And recently, 1 year ago, I want to say, you are now based in Burma. Have you seen the differences in media freedom in the country, or is there real freedom?
But in terms of press freedom, I think it's kind has a lot of limitation, which means I think the press freedom in Burma is still very limited. Ministry of Information still controls and still remain very, very powerful in terms of renewing, giving you permission to publish and license, and television and radio, all the broadcast media are controlled by the military and the government agencies and cronies and rich tycoons. We have seen a lot of communal violence.
Scores of journalists chanted "Press freedom now" as they marched through Myanmar's commercial center Yangon to demand the release of a reporter who was imprisoned while working on a story about corruption.
We're protesting today because we think media freedom is under threat. We can write more openly now than before President Thein Sein came to power. But when we ask ourselves if we have real press freedom, we do not.
We are still under government control. The media still face difficulties meeting with government officials, and people from the countryside are controlled even more than people from the cities.
Journalists in Myanmar have been granted new freedom since reform-minded Thein Sein came to power in 2011. He relaxed the draconian media restrictions imposed during 5 decades of military rule.
The show in Myanmar encourages young people to get involved in their community. Called Bright Young Stars, it aims to get the younger generation to help each other. As a result of listening, this group volunteered to teach extra classes to the village children, helping the next generation realize their potential.
For years, Burma's journalists have been persecuted and imprisoned. Now, 5 formerly imprisoned journalists are free to speak out for the first time. Free to tell us about the changes and the challenges. Through the eyes of those who are experiencing it firsthand, we find out if there is real change.